radio station.
Michael K. is on the radio today, and he ain't afraid to say what he's thinking. It's the Michael K. Show on 880 ESPN Radio.
And a good afternoon, everybody. This is indeed the Michael K. Show. We thank you for joining us on this Tuesday. It's September 30th. It's 2025. It's the beginning of the Major League Baseball playoffs. The wild cards begin today. The Yankees and the Red Sox will start at 6:05 on the field at Yankee Stadium, and that should be great. First game is about to start of the four today. It'll be the Guardians against the Tigers in Cleveland, and that game could be seen on ESPN. But we're going to start today with some football. Now, if you were one of the many thousands of people that enjoyed the fun that we had on the Couch Cast yesterday on the ESPN New York YouTube page, you saw the Jets lay an absolute egg in Miami. I mean, this was the Jets fighting in their own weight class. You can't get mad at them losing to the Bills. The Bills are better. You can't get mad at them losing to the Steelers because the Steelers have a Hall of Fame type coach, a Hall of Fame quarterback, and they won. They won. But you can get mad that not only did they lose to the Dolphins, but they were embarrassed by the Dolphins. Don't give me the final score of 27-21. They were never in it. That was a touchdown that gave them the 21-point or the 6-point deficit, a touchdown and a 2-point conversion with under 2 minutes remaining. And then they tried to pull off an onside kick, which never works. It was recovered by Darren Waller, who, by the way, was a star for the Dolphins. And the Jets looked awful. They had 3 turnovers. They had 11 penalties for over 190 yards. How are you going to win games? The thing that is really, really sobering for me is everything that Aaron Glenn has preached about how this team is going to change hasn't changed at all. And I know he rails against the phrase same old Jets, but you tell me, if you're a Jet fan and you were watching that game yesterday, that you didn't roll your eyes and go, same old Jets. What is different about this team than the one that Robert Saleh had? What is different about this team than the one that Adam Gase had? What's different? They're 0-4, and since 1990, when the playoffs changed, one team that started 0-4 went to the postseason. The then San Diego Chargers. One team. So it's going to be 15 straight years where the Jets don't make the playoffs. And tell me the growth. Tell me the progress. Tell me the things that they look differently doing. Tell me. What do you hang your hat on if you're a Jet fan? What do you hang your hat on if you're Aaron Glenn? Remember he preached accountability and they cut Xavier Gipson? You got to cut the whole team. Cutting Gibson now after that fumble in the opening game, it looks hypocritical. It is hypocritical. You're not cutting anybody else. Why not? Why are you not cutting anybody else? Are you going to cut Isaiah Williams because he fumbled the opening kickoff in the second half? Are you going to cut Isaiah Williams for catching a punt? Catching a punt inside the 5-yard line. You're going to cut him? Because that's stupid football. Forget about the fumble on the opening kickoff, the second half opening kickoff. I mean, physical mistakes are physical mistakes. But catching a punt at the 3-yard line, it's inexcusable. A 12-year-old would know not to do that in a flag football game. I was sitting next to Rick DiPietro during the Couchcast during that, and his head just dropped. He's a Jet fan. He couldn't even believe it was happening. I said 11 penalties. I had 13 penalties, by the way, for 101 yards. 6 of them pre-snap, which is a lack of discipline. 6 pre-snap penalties. Are you kidding me? I thought Breece Hall said it best. Teams shoot themselves in the foot, and we shoot ourselves in the head. Don't tell me this isn't same old Jets. This is same old Jets. They fall behind 3-0. They drive the length of the field. Braylon Allen's about to go in. The ball is punched out, fumble, and that was it. That was it for me for the Jets. And let's talk about Justin Fields. You gave the guy a 2-year, $40 million contract, $30 million of which is guaranteed, which isn't big money for a quarterback that you have belief in, that you think is going to be your quarterback in the future. You don't throw with him. You're afraid to have him throw the ball. Now, the running game was effective, but the guy, they don't let him throw. And when they finally let him throw in the fourth quarter, there was some effectiveness there. And when you say, well, the running game is more effective, blah, 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 and they did gain a lot of yards on the ground yesterday. They did. 197 yards rushing. But one of your best players, if not your best player on the team, is Garrett Wilson. If you're going to run and run and run 9 out of 10 times on a drive, you're effectively eliminating Garrett Wilson. Why is he there? Why'd you pay him all the money? Why did you pay him all the money if you're never going to throw the ball? And why did you bring in Justin Fields if you don't think that he could throw the ball? That was my big fear. At the beginning of the season, during the exhibition season, preseason, whatever they call it, they never threw. Everybody says that Glenn is a disciple of Bill Parcells, which is great. Bill Parcells is one of the brightest football minds of all time, and Bill Parcells was a ground and pound guy. The sport is different now. You've got to throw the ball. If you're going to just run the ball, you're not going to score as many points. You're not going to score the points that you need. You've got to have some quick strike scores. You're going to keep grinding out on the ground. Then you commit stupid penalties, which makes the drive even longer. Is there any Jet fan out there within the sound of my voice that can reconcile what happened yesterday? That was an embarrassment. I thank goodness that we were doing the couch cast last night because we could have a little fun amongst the 8 of us. We joke around and laugh. That game was unwatchable. I felt sorry for ESPN. The second game was no better. I felt sorry for ABC. Bengals can't play without Joe Burrow. They're awful. Sloppy. Terrible football. Steve Young has always said this. The first 4 weeks, 6 weeks of the season is really preseason football. It's not good football. It's an embarrassment. That's not a good product. But because the NFL knows it's the NFL and you'll watch anything, you'll watch a Pro Bowl game, they don't care. They don't care that the product is awful. And the product is awful. Even amongst the good teams, it's awful. And the good teams that have been together and that have had success, you know what it is? They can actually make it work and make it somewhat palatable. Just from muscle memory. But these teams that are trying to put in new programs like the Jets, not enough time. There's not enough practices. There's not enough practices with pads. We're being fed regular season games that are really preseason games, that are really glorified practices. Because if this is the real deal for the New York Jets for the rest of the year, we're in a lot of trouble. They stink. Where's the accountability now? That's what I'd like to know, everybody. Poor Xavier Gibson got cut in an eye blink. Oh, things are going to be different here. You're going to pay for your mistakes. All they do is make mistakes. Who's paying today? Doesn't somebody have to pay if you're going to change the culture of the team? Mind-boggling. Absolutely mind-boggling, the performance that they turned in. And how about us as New York football fans? 1-7. Giants finally won the game against the Chargers, so that was a 1. Jets are 0-4. The Giants are 1-3. It's unacceptable. And I'm finished with all the hype. I'm done with the hype. Oh, Aaron Glenn's the one. He's going to turn things around. Oh, Adam Gase is the one. He's going to turn things around. Oh, Joe Judge is the one. He's going to turn things around. That one actually got me. Oh, Pat Shurmur's the one. He's going to turn things around. It's all PR nonsense. It's fluff. We don't know until we see. And I am not here to bury Aaron Glenn because I think that's ridiculous. He's coached 4 games. It hasn't looked good. But you can't tell me that the Jet roster is this bad. I'm sorry, you can't tell me that. I'm not going to accept it. I think it's a joke. They shouldn't be this bad. When you preach discipline and then there's no discipline, you look like a fool. 6 pre-snap penalties, 13 penalties in all. So we make a big deal out of the fact that they gained 197 yards on the ground. Well, you subtract 101 yards in penalties. So what did you gain? And then you refuse to let a quarterback throw the ball. This is the guy that you're betting on in the future? Well, maybe if you go 1-15 or 1-16, maybe you will get a quarterback in the draft. Maybe. But the way you're using this guy right now, you don't have any faith in him. It's like a single-wing quarterback. His biggest play was that 47-yard TD run. There's no explosive plays there. You can't have your quarterback throw. I'm going to tell you something that will probably anger some Jet fans. Can you tell me with a straight face, that the Jets wouldn't be better with Aaron Rodgers as their quarterback? And I'm not an Aaron Rodgers fan. But that was part of the culture they wanted to change, and I understand. Aaron Glenn wants to be the alpha male. He wants to be the face of the franchise. He wants to be the voice of the franchise. He doesn't want to have a celebrity quarterback. Okay, good. Stop. They wouldn't be better with Aaron Rodgers as the quarterback. Of course they would. Of course they would. Aaron Rodgers can at least throw the ball. They don't think Justin Fields can throw the ball. Now, their answer after the game, well, why would you go away from something that's working? Working, you were losing. You were losing the entire game. How is it working? And how is something a good strategy when it eliminates your best player? How's that possible? I don't get it. I don't get what's happening. And it's a sad state of affairs for the Jets. But please, I mean, you're more than welcome to call in with anything. You know how I feel about all of you. You're the co-host of the show. But, I mean, we're going to have a talk if you think that Aaron Glenn is the problem after 4 games. I mean, can we let it breathe? Did you see what happened in New England? Was that fair? Did you see what happened the first time Steve Wilkes had a job? Is that fair? You don't hire a guy for 1 year. You know, you could tell that Gerard Mayo wasn't good enough to coach the Patriots after 1 year. Now you're going to tell me after 4 games that Aaron Glenn doesn't know how to coach? Now, I'll be forthright with you. It hasn't looked good so far. But you can't make decisions after 4 games. The people that want to make a decision on Aaron Glenn after 4 games, they also want Carlos Mendoza fired when he shouldn't be fired, and he's not going to be fired. Because smart organizations don't get rid of people that quickly. And if you fire somebody or even think about firing somebody after 4 games, you know what? That's an indictment of you. Your decision-making process is so poor, and your gut instinct is so ridiculously poor that you didn't see this when you were interviewing him? Do they look terrible now? Of course they look terrible now. Does that mean get rid of him now? Of course not. Football is not that sort of sport because every time you get rid of a coach, everything starts again from zero. You don't just take another guy's system and run with that. No, you bring in your own system and your own player, so it starts from zero. Which is what Glenn is doing. It's starting from zero. Brought in his own quarterback. He didn't want Aaron Rodgers. He got rid of most of the coaches from Robert Saleh. Got to let it breathe, people. Can't overreact. Can't be overreaction Tuesday here. Talk a little bit about the Yankee Red Sox series. And that'll start at 6. And by the way, we'll have the game right here on 880 ESPN. The play-by-play. They've already made some roster decisions today, the Yankees did. And Luis Gil is off the roster. And I think that makes sense because he wasn't starting. Cam Schlittler is going to start if there's a game 3. He wasn't starting. I don't think that he translates out of the bullpen with his lack of command. So that makes sense to me. Will Warren did make the postseason roster. And I think that makes sense because he has strikeout ability. And for the most part, he throws strikes. So that was one of the big decisions. They also kept Paul Blackburn on the roster, who I thought pitched very well, other than the first time he pitched for the Yankees. After that, he ate up innings and threw up zeros. And I think he's there in the unlikely event that, A, a starter gets hurt or a starter gets banged around, let's say today. Well, you do not, at that point, want to burn out all the big arms, the high-leverage guys in the bullpen, so you bring in Paul Blackburn and hope that he throws 4 zeros up. That makes sense. And then they added J.C. Escara to the roster, and they took Austin Slater off of it. Because if Austin Slater's not starting tonight against Crochet, and he's not, I would think, well, now he's not on the roster, so of course he's not, then there's really no need for him on the roster. Your right-handed batters off the bench are Caballero and Rosario. Now, if it's me, I'm finding a way to start Rosario tonight. He's 6 for 9 against Crochet. He's one of the few Yankees that actually has good numbers against Crochet. Now, if Jazz Chisholm is not 100% because after he was hit on the arm on Saturday, then you know what? Then I'd start him at second. And if Jazz Chisholm is 100%, then I'm going to have to swallow hard and sacrifice a little bit of defense with McMahon at third, and I'd start Rosario at third. You can't ignore 6 for 9. Now, I know that's not a great sample size, but when you look at all of the guys on the Yankee team, they don't have great numbers against Crochet. Goldschmidt is 2 for 15. Judge has not played well against Crochet. He's 3 for 15 with 11 strikeouts, but he does have 2 home runs. One of them was at Fenway Park. He hit it onto Lansdowne Street after Crochet was amazing. Crochet, 4 games against the Yankees this year, 39 strikeouts, 27 and a third innings with a 3.29 ERA. The best outing was the one on June 13th when Judge hit that home run. He won 8 shutout innings and then gave up that home run to Judge, and the Red Sox ended up winning in extra innings. And also, that was a game that started the Yankees on their 20-31 slide. 1-800-919-3776. Also, yesterday, Aaron Boone said that Austin Wells is going to start behind the plate. Austin Wells has hit well of late, and he said Goldschmidt starting at first, so that means that Ben Rice is out. Now, he's on the roster, and obviously he could pinch hit. If they bring in a right-hander, he'll pinch hit for Goldschmidt. And Goldschmidt does not have good numbers against Crochet either. I think I mentioned 2 for 15 against Crochet. But he does hit lefties very well, so maybe they think that he'll lock in tonight. But not starting Rice today is tough. And I think they're doing that because I believe that Fried is a little more comfortable pitching to Wells. He only pitched to Rice once. And he actually did okay. But all of his other starts, most of them were with Wells and some were with Escara. So the choice was, do you start Rice against Crochet and play him at first, lefty, or do you start Goldschmidt? I probably would start Goldschmidt, but I would have thought harder about starting Rice behind the plate. Again, Wells has looked good at the plate lately. So that all starts at 6 o'clock. On a personal note, Yes is going to have a 1-hour pregame show that starts at 5, and then a 90-minute postgame show, which follows the last pitch of the game. The first game of the playoffs has started. They're in the bottom of the first inning in Cleveland. Some sloppy defense by the Guardians, and Detroit leads 1-0. And you wonder, is that enough for Tarek Skubal, who's getting the start for Detroit? 1-800-919-3776. Let's go to Muhammad in Long Island. Muhammad.
What's going on, Michael? Thanks for taking my call, man. I'm going to just get right to it. I watched the game, and I watched you guys all together. And the Jets game was so bad. I had the couch cast on my TV and the Jets game on my iPad. Just to let you know where my focus really was at. But yeah, so I've been harping on this since the season started. Not like I knew Aaron Glenn was going to be bad, but I didn't come into the season looking for a good quarterback play because I knew we were getting for Justin Fields. He is what he is. If he can give us a flash, then fine. But we knew what he was. But I did want to see what we were going to get out of our head coach. So I wonder, like, in the 4 games you've seen so far, Michael, give me any vote of confidence that you can in support of Aaron Glenn. That's all I wanted from you. Thanks for taking my call.
Well, I mean, I guess the one thing I could tell you is, he looked good when he danced, when they scored that touchdown on the special teams touchdown. That was it. The Jets have not distinguished themselves. Just haven't. They have not distinguished themselves. So we'll see. We shall see. I think he's going to get better. Remember, he's a first-time coach. Being a defensive coordinator is completely different than being a head coach. You have every responsibility as a head coach. You have to grow into it. So when you hire a guy with no coaching experience, you're going to have to have growing pains. You don't know what it's like to sit in the big seat until you sit in the big seat. And they cannot tell you with any certitude how you are going to be in the big seat until you sit in the big seat. You just have no clue. James in Nashville.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm good. You?
I'm doing all right after yesterday. So, wanted to chime in. I'm not out on Aaron Glenn. I'm repeating myself what he did in his first year in Detroit, 3 wins, and then that compounded to 9 and then 14. So I'm going to give him at least a year or two.
But let me stop you. I'll let you finish your point. He didn't do it. He was a defensive coordinator. Dan Campbell did it. Well, I guess he's gone.
He was part of the reason.
I know. Listen, the defense was a big part of it. But, dirty little secret, the Lions defense was heavily penalized all those years too. But listen, you say he was part of it. The guy who gets the credit is the head coach and the GM. Dan Campbell gets the credit for putting that together. Not Ben Johnson, not Aaron Glenn. They were part of it, but you know what? They both left, and the Lions haven't skipped a beat. Have not skipped a beat. This is not taking anything away from the job that he did with the defense, but he was not the chief executive officer. There's a difference when you're in the big seat. That was all Dan Campbell. He's the guy who came out with the speeches, biting off their knees, stuff like that. I can't give the credit to the defensive coordinator. You can give some of it, but if you're going to hand out flowers, you hand out flowers to the head coach who hired the defensive coordinator, who hired Ben Johnson as the offensive coordinator. That's the ones you give credit to. Vinny in Staten Island.
Hi, Michael. Michael, I agree with you 1,000%. They owed it to the fans to bring Aaron Rodgers back because they started looking good with Aaron Rodgers during the end of the year. To bring in a defensive coordinator like they did with Salah and then bring in a new quarterback, this thing had no chance of working early. They owed it to the fans to bring back Rodgers and make a playoff run this year, no matter if they had Aaron Glenn or not, because they would have been a much better team with Aaron Rodgers. Thank you, Michael. I'll talk to you later.
But the one thing I love, Vinny, he's been calling for 3 years and he says Salah. I don't know if that's a thing he's doing on purpose. The name is Robert Saleh, Vinny, but that's another story for another day. Listen, what the Jets did, which I thought was quite a leap, is they made Aaron Glenn the grand poobah of everything. I believe that he rules over the GM. He helped pick the GM. I think Muji takes orders from Aaron Glenn. So you gave this guy unlimited power. Now, once you give him unlimited power, he's not bringing back Aaron Rodgers. My only question was, would they be better with Aaron Rodgers than they are with Justin Fields? And I believe they would be. And you have every single right to disagree with me. You really do. But that's just my gut feeling. Because I think that Aaron Rodgers is a better quarterback. Game Time Brought to you by Tullamore Dew Irish Whiskey, because when it's game time, it's Tully time. 6 p.m., Yankees host the Red Sox for Game 1 of their Wildcard Series in the Bronx. Play-by-play can be heard right here on ESPN New York and watched on ESPN. And you can see the pregame show on Yes at 5 o'clock and the 90-minute postgame show following final pitch. 1 p.m., Tigers are in Cleveland to play the Guardians on 1050 ESPN and also ESPN TV. Right now it is 1-0 as they're in the second inning. The Tigers lead the Guardians. 3 p.m., Padres are in Chicago to play the Cubs on 1050 ESPN, and you can watch it on ABC 7. And at 9 p.m., the Reds are in Los Angeles to play the Dodgers on 1050 ESPN and also on ESPN TV. Tullamore Dew, the original triple distilled, triple blended, triple cask matured Irish whiskey. Be sure to grab a Tullamore Dew. Try the new Tullamore Dew Honey during today's action. Glasses up to enjoying Tullamore Dew responsibly. We got a big guest list today. It's Tuesday, 1:30. We talked to Marcus Spears. I can't wait to hear his take on what the Jets did yesterday or didn't do. Then following Marcus Spears, we're going to have my colleague, my friend, Jack Curry, to help preview Yankees against the Red Sox. And then about 2:10, we'll talk to Paul Finebaum, all things college football as well. And, of course, you're the co-host. We'll be talking to you a lot. You know the number 1-800-919-3776. It's the K-Show right here on the ESPN New York YouTube channel and ESPN New York.
At City Harvest, we believe no New Yorker has to go hungry. With your help, we're on the road 365 days a year, rescuing over 77 million pounds of nutritious food and delivering it free to millions of New Yorkers, transforming surplus food into sustenance, sustainability, and smiles, rallying thousands of New Yorkers to power a network of nourishment across our city. One day, one meal, and one New Yorker at a time. That's how we feed good. Donate at cityharvest.org.
Every aspect of your business will operate better and faster with artificial intelligence. AI is a race, and companies that act first will win. Thrive Managed AI is your advantage over all your competitors. Thrive partners with you on a smart, secure AI strategy for your business. Then they deploy and manage it for you. Be first and win the race with Thrive Managed AI. Start with a complimentary strategy consultation at thrivenextgen.com/ESPN. That's thrivenextgen.com/ESPN.
At Uline, they know firsthand the road to success is an uphill climb. Uline started in the family basement, and through hard work is now North America's most trusted shipping and industrial supplier. They get what it means to have the support of reliable, hard-working partners. So they keep 41,000 items ready to ship. Whether your company is still in a basement office or expanding cross-country, Uline will be there on your road to success. Visit uline.com.
This fall, don't sit on the sideline because of pain. If you're tired of waking up stiff, fighting neck, back, or joint pain, and missing out on the things you love, it's time to take action. Call Dr. Jay Shaw at Sandwell Pain, New Jersey's top pain specialist. Dr. Shaw is an Ivy League trained, double board certified, and laser focused on one thing: getting you back in the game. Living pain-free, no surgery, no cuts, no downtime. Just precise image-guided treatments that deliver real results. Whether it's sciatica, nerve pain, migraine, or chronic joint pain, Dr. Shaw will personalize a non-surgical game plan just for you without pain medication. Same-day and next-day appointments are available with offices in Woodbridge, Livingston, and Inglewood. Most major insurances are accepted, so what are you waiting for? Don't let pain keep you out of the action this season. Visit Sandwell Pain to text, call, or book online. You'll wish you met Dr. Jay Shaw a lot sooner. Relief starts today, and victory over pain is closer than you think.
We are proud to serve our country, to serve our local communities, to wear the uniform, to be a soldier, to serve abroad when and where duty calls. We are ready to stand with our brothers and sisters to defend, to serve, to fight. We're always ready. We're always there. We are the New York Army National Guard.
Sponsored by the New York Army National Guard.
If you have ever thought about remodeling your bathroom but were worried it would take too long or cost too much, then stop worrying. Right now, Jacuzzi Bath Remodel has designed a collection of high-quality custom products and perfected the one-day remodeling experience so you can enjoy your new bathroom faster than ever before. It's a worry-free bath remodel from the most trusted brand name in the business, Jacuzzi. A jacuzzi bath system fits in your existing tub space. It's a no-mess installation with an amazing style selection, factory-certified installers, and a limited lifetime warranty. Call 800-717-4599. That's 800-717-4599 right now and get 50% off installation with no interest and no payments for 12 months. Replace that old bathtub today with a walk-in shower for a safer bathing experience. If you have lived in your home for over 15 years, it's time to remodel your bathroom. For a virtual or in-home appointment, call 800-717-4599. That's 800-717-4599. 800-717-4599.
Welcome back to the show, everybody. Michael K. with you until 3. At that time, it'll be Don, Hahn, and Rosenberg. We have Marcus Spears coming up in a moment, then Jack Curry, then Paul Finebaum, and then you. While we're waiting on Marcus, let's go to John in Bethlehem. John.
Hey, Michael. How are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, great. Exciting day to be watching the Yankees. I'm so happy to be doing that later. I think you have to go with your best defensive alignment in the lineup in the playoffs. I hate to take McMahon out. I know Rosario's got great numbers in a limited appearances against Crochet, and Crochet is super tough. But I still feel somehow that you got to go with your best defensive lineup. And I hate to see Rice out of the lineup, but I think Goldschmidt has to play first.
Well, I technically agree with you. So if they start McMahon, John, I understand. But it's hard to ignore. McMahon struggles offensively. He's going to struggle against Crochet. And are you losing that much to give up 6 for 9 against Crochet, a guy that no one hits? That's the decision they have to make. That's the decision that they have to make. But they made the decision of going with Goldschmidt, who's 2 for 15, and he's going to play it first, not Rice. All right, well, we opened up the show talking about the Jets. And, you know, I'm not quite sure what I was watching yesterday. I know Marcus Spears is sure what he watched, and he joins us now as he does every Tuesday at this time. Marcus, thanks for coming on, number one. And number two, what was that?
Mike, what's up, brother? A pleasure, as always. What was that was super undisciplined football. And I also said last night when we were on Monday Night Countdown is that the Jets' slow starts are very detrimental to what at times they look like a team that's competent. So, but the penalties were, I think, the story of the night. Some of them were, I saw Aaron Glenn get frustrated on the sideline. I don't know if it was towards the offensive coordinator or a specific position coach, but it just looked unorganized. And I think that's the biggest indictment, you know, obviously the head coach. On the head coach is when you just don't look ready situationally. You have those amount of penalties happen. You have pre-snap penalties happening. So last night for the Jets, I thought was a step back.
Now, the thing that we were sold with Aaron Glenn is that there's going to be accountability and there's going to be discipline. Yep. And if you don't do it the right way, you're not going to be there. Now, you can't release the whole team. But the thing that's distressing to me, Marcus, is that 4 weeks in, I don't see any discipline in terms of, you know, pre-snap penalties shouldn't happen. 13 penalties, 101 yards shouldn't happen. So how do we explain that? Because we know that he was a great defensive coordinator, and you just hope that that translates to head coach. Should we start to doubt that, or is this too early to doubt it?
Not yet, Mike. I think it's too early. I think you're still establishing, you know, what your mantra will be, and saying the right things and actually going out and executing them are completely different. But I don't think from an execution standpoint you can take 4 weeks and determine, you know, what Aaron Glenn as a head coach. I know the question is being asked, and I know in this day and age we ready to turn the page when we see the first thing we don't like. But I would at least say a little bit of patience should be instilled. And if Aaron was my former teammate in Dallas. I love him like a brother, but if he's not getting the job done, Mike, you know me by now, I'll say they need to get somebody else in there. But right now, I'm gonna give it a little time. It takes a while, man, to establish culture. It takes a while to establish the attention to detail. And to your point, those things that happened last night is a reflection on the head coach, but I don't think Aaron would shy away from that. Now it's about him privately holding everybody accountable and taking the brunt of the brunt of people being angry and upset about what it looked like in public. That's his job, I feel, as a head coach. But then you go back to work. You get back in the office today, you get back in the office for the rest of the week, and you prepare, and hopefully next week you can see those things corrected. And that's really what should happen.
And I would agree with you. I think, we live in a society now, a microwave society. We have people saying that they should get rid of it. It's ridiculous. I mean, you hired the guy, you have to, let's see it through. But we had Steve Young on yesterday. We talked to him on Mondays, Marcus. And I thought he said something interesting. I want to get your take on it. He felt that last night's game for the Jets was important. He said because you need to have wins so that your voice is heard louder when you look at the tape. He said when the Giants look at the tape after Sunday, the guys are going to be sitting up paying attention. But when you try to instill something new and there's no results, it becomes more difficult. Do you agree now?
Right. Depends on the makeup of your team. I think you can learn a lot. Obviously, you want to learn through the wins. I mean, because the record matters, but it's also a lot of things to point to as reasons why you're not on the win column yet. And whether that team is mature enough to have that attention to detail based on if we correct these, we can get wins, that's hopefully the reaction that you have. Now, Steve did a lot of winning in his career. And that prism is always the prism you want to come from. When I was in college, Nick Saban was harder on us the week after a win than a loss, because after a loss, you teach so much. And you usually have the ear of players that want to win the following week. But again, man, we knew that this was going to be a process. We knew that it was a lot of newness around the Jets coming out of, unfortunately short, but the Aaron Rodgers era and waffling with Zach Wilson. I think everybody wants to microcosm this into 4 games. You're coming out of a situation that's been going on for a long time. So, and this is not to say that Aaron Glenn is the guy, but this is to say give him a minute.
Now, here's something that's curious to me, though. So they bring in Justin Fields, and they obviously needed a quarterback. If you watch the first 3 quarters of the game, all they're doing is running the ball. They're hardly letting him throw. Then they finally let him throw in the 4th quarter. He was effective. And I understand that the running game is effective. He's a disciple of Bill Parcells, Marcus. But it's hard to win with just a running game in the NFL because everybody throws that wins. And the second thing is the best player on your team is Garrett Wilson. And if you're going to have a running team, what does Garrett Wilson mean?
Yeah, it's unfortunate, Mike, especially when about the progression of Justin Fields. The week 1 gave us so much hope based on the way he played against Pittsburgh. And, it seems like it always reverberates back to Justin Fields playing slow, holding on to the ball, not being anticipatory. And no receiver in the NFL should be more angry at their situation than Garrett Wilson has been in the last couple of years, because you see when it's thrown his way what he can do. But this is going to be about the progression of that position. And if it doesn't, you'll be in this never-ending revolving cycle of trying to find one that you feel good about that can get the job done.
Let's talk about the Giants a little. What did you think of Jackson Dart? We're so starved here, Marcus, that we're turning him into Johnny Unitas. I thought it was a nice performance, and he showed things, but I didn't think he looked great yet. Do you?
Not great, but infused some juice, and I think did exactly what you would want to happen if you're a Giants fan. And like we just talked about with the Jets, it's so much better in a win. You know what I mean? So I think a lot of – did I cut out on you, Mike?
No, I got you.
Okay. I think when you think about the reason for Jackson Dart being in the game, it was to absolutely just see if he could play well. But on top of that, you got to win against a team that, for the first 4 weeks looked like a legit Super Bowl contender in the Chargers. The defense stepped up big. They made a lot of plays. But I think that matters when it comes to how this team responded by having Jackson Dart in the game.
Mm-hmm.
You see Big Sexy Dex get the pick, and the defense is all over the place, making plays, special teams. And when me and you talked last week, it was about infusing Wilson. It was the situation was going to be the situation. But I think the fact that the young man was in the game did a lot for the team in general, and you came away with a win, so you got icing on the cake.
All right, before I let you go, I got to ask you this. I'm watching the Giant game, and I see the awful injury to Malik Neighbors. I'm watching last night's game, and I see the awful injury to Tyreek Hill. I mean, just we're sitting there watching, Marcus. We can't even look at it again. We don't want to see a replay. So it makes us sick. Here's what I want to ask you. You were in the arena. You were a warrior in the arena. How does a player watch that and go, okay, next snap, and like try to get it out of you? I mean, do you have to fight to keep it out of your head that could be me?
Yeah, you got to fight, and it's unfortunate, but we've been kind of conditioned to know that those things can happen, Mike. And the human side of you is like, dang, man, not only my teammate, but my friend, and then the mind of this could happen to me. But ultimately, that's the life we chose. And I say it all the time when we see things happen like that, is that you unfortunately have to continue to do your job. It's just like when one of your good friends get released or cut or somebody gets traded that you're close to. You got to get up, get back in the facility, and get ready for work. And it probably sounds a little bit, barbaric, but the reality is, man, is that, for each individual guy that's making up this team, we all have a responsibility, and not only to ourselves, but to the team, and more importantly, to our career. So that usually takes precedence when it comes to having to go and do your job. But it's super unfortunate to see.
You guys are the toughest of the tough, and you could never admit this when you're playing, but now that you don't play anymore, Marcus, is there a fear that it could happen to you? Because I look at baseball players that get hit in the head, and I don't understand how they get back in the box, and they said you just can't think about it. But is there fear?
I don't think fear is the right word. You know what can happen, but I think you just go about doing your job, man, and you hope for the best. We all know at some point we're going to get injured. That's just football. That's the moniker. If you get out of it unscathed, it was a miracle. But you just, like, if fear is a part of it, it slows everything you do down as far as being a really good player. So that's kind of how we handle that, is knowing that it would affect our literal play if we feel that way. And I think that's how we get over it so fast.
Unbelievable. You guys are unbelievable. I mean, really, warriors. That's the only way I can think about it. I mean, just watching it makes me sick. It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Well,
Thank you, my friend.
You've mastered the microphone, so keep doing that.
Yeah, I don't have to worry about breaking my leg on a microphone. Thank you, my friend. We'll talk to you next Tuesday.
All right, take care.
All right, that's Marcus Spears. Always great. I love having him on. He's so good. And our next guest is somebody I'm really close personal friends with, and he does a great job on the Yes Network. That's Jack Curry. And we'll take a look ahead at Game 1 of the Yankees against the Red Sox. That's coming up in just a moment right here on ESPN New York.
Hey Yankees fans, hit your next adventure out of the park and onto the water with City Cruises New York. Sail your way to epic skyline views, delicious dining, and premium drinks. Upgrade your game day with a dining cruise, a cocktail sail, or a night with your favorite entertainers aboard City Cruises Live. Whether you're celebrating a win or just the weekend, City Cruises is a shipload of fun. Proud partner of the New York Yankees. Book today at citycruises.com/New York.
There's nothing the voice in our head obsesses over like our health. But with over 100 lab tests and insights, Function can help answer the questions like, why am I so tired all the time? How can I get better sleep? My friend was telling me about magnesium gummies she takes. How do I even know if my heart is work stress affected? It's time to up my cardio. If my mom has something, how would I find out? It's time to get some blood work done. A Function membership gives you a comprehensive health check with results tracked over time. Find out what you're made of at functionhealth.com.
1-877 Cards for Kids. KARS Cards for Kids. 1-877 Cards for Kids. Donate your card today.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877-CARS for kids. Donate your car today.
Ready to get rid of that old car? Donate it to Cars for Kids. Call 1-877-CARS-FOR-KIDS to reach a friendly live agent. Donation's super easy, and your car can be picked up as soon as tomorrow. Call us now, 1-877-CARS-FOR-KIDS. That's Cars with a K to donate your car today.
1-877-CARS for kids. Donate your car today.
Did you know you can donate real estate too? Go to carsforkids.org. That's carsforkids.org.
This is John D'Agostino from D'Agostino & Associates. I played sports my whole life, and my dad was my biggest fan. Because he lost his leg in a construction accident, it was sometimes tough for him to get from his car to the bleachers, but that didn't stop him. He always kept a folding chair in his trunk and would cheer from the parking lot when he had to. And over the past 35 years of building D'Agostino & Associates, I've made sure our team does whatever it takes to accommodate our clients and help them get every dollar they deserve. With my son and my daughter by my side, we're going to continue the legacy of getting justice for people just like you. The consultation is always free, so call us first at 1-800-BITE-BACK, 1-800-BITE-BACK. That's 1-800-248-3222, and ask for me, John D'Agostino. We have offices throughout New York and New Jersey, but we'll always make it easy for you to meet with one of our attorneys. Remember, I've been there, and I'll be there for you. D'Agostino Law, Bite Back.
Individuals and businesses with tax problems, listen carefully. Do you feel like you're losing control of your finances? If you owe over $10,000 in back taxes or have unfiled tax returns, we can help you take back control. The IRS is the largest and most aggressive collection agency in the world, and they can seize your bank accounts, garnish your paycheck, close your business, and file criminal charges. Take control of your tax problem now by calling the experts at U.S. Tax Shield and take advantage of the Fresh Start program and new laws that may allow us to negotiate a settlement for the lowest amount possible. Our team of tax attorneys and enrolled agents can stop collections and get you protected so you can take control of your financial future. U.S. Tax Shield offers a price protection guaranteed quote to get you protected today. U.S. Tax Shield is A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau, so call now. 800-687-5192. That's 800-687-5192. U.S. Tax Shield. 800-687-5192.
From the regular season to the Super Bowl, ESPN New York is your destination for football. We've got crazy fans.
If the Giants somehow beat the Cowboys, I'm going to take a dump on your head.
You can feel good because you're a damn football team. Expert analysis.
Marcus Spears joins us now. ESPN NFL analyst Damian Woody.
Mel Kiper Jr.
The Hall of Famer Steve Young.
He's kind of our resident general manager, Louis Riddick.
We got Mike Tannenbaum right now.
And all your fantasy and wagering needs. This is ESPN New York. We are football.
Yankees and the Red Sox game one tonight, starting at 6 at the stadium. On the YES Network, we're going to have an hour pregame show starting at 5, and then following the final pitch, we'll give you at least 90 minutes. Who knows? We could even go on longer. And it'll be Bob Lorenz, John Flaherty, me, and then my next guest, Jack Curry, who's there all the time throughout the season, so he'll take us through the postseason as well. And we welcome Jack onto the show. Hey, Jack, how you doing?
Hey, Michael, I'm doing great. Love this time of the season, and always great to talk with you.
All right, so tell me in your mind, Jack, the toughest decisions that Boone's going to make putting the lineup together against Crochet.
You look at the lineup that they're going to use today, Michael, and I'm going to be honest. I thought Rice would start. I'll start there. I thought Rice, with the way that he has been hitting recently, I thought he would get the nod at catcher. I thought when he caught Fried's last start, the Yankees were angling in that direction. But in speaking to Aaron Boone yesterday, there's a comfort level with Wells behind the plate. He caught the bulk of Fried's starts. So now you don't have Rice in the lineup because I do believe you've got to play Goldschmidt against a lefty. And you look at what Goldschmidt has done against lefties. And I know there's been a swoon across the last couple of months. I still think Goldschmidt has to start against a lefty. They want Rosario in there. To get Rosario in there, you could have played him at third or second. Fried, with that cutter, you're going to have a lot of action at third base. So you want defense at third base. You could say, well, maybe Ryan McCann is the guy. They don't like the Crochet-McMahon matchup. So Caballero, who is an above-average defender, gets the nod at third. To get Rosario in, Michael, you've got to bench Jazz. So now you're benching Jazz and Rice, two guys with more than 60 home runs. Very difficult choices that Boone has had to make, but I'm sure Boone will say this when he speaks before the game. Those guys are going to get in the game. Crochet's not pitching a complete game, we don't think, but he'll have some weapons to play off the bench in Rice and Chisholm.
I'm kind of blown away. If Chisholm's not hurt and he claims he's fine, that he would not be starting in this game. I mean, we're talking about defense, right? Chisholm's a better second baseman than Rosario, and I don't think Rosario is that much different than Caballero at third. Caballero was a little shaky when he started games, Jack, in the field, and also shaky on the bases. I like him off the bench as an energy source. I'm not sure I want to start him. I would start Rosario because he's 6 for 9 against Crochet, so that's a little odd to me.
I asked about that yesterday to various people at the stadium, and the answer I got was, I think you're giving – this is what they think. I think you're giving Rosario more credit for his defense, and I don't think you're giving Caballero enough credit. They think Caballero is above average at third, and that with the action you're probably going to get there, he needs to be there. Your point on Rosario and Jazz is a good one. Jazz Chisholm has had some big hits for this team. We're talking about 9 plate appearances. We're not talking about 30. But, again, one of those home runs occurred this year. I believe it occurred the last time that Crochet faced them. And if you made a move at the trade deadline to add right-handed pop in Rosario, if he's not starting this game, then why did you ever make that move? I think that's their thinking in this situation.
All right, so they released the roster, Jack. No heel, but they are going to have Warren coming out of the bullpen and Blackburn. Do you agree with those moves?
I expected no heel. Threw almost 80 pitches on Sunday. You're looking at a 3-game series where there are no off days. I don't think heel would have been a factor for you. I think Warren, because he has swing and miss ability, I could easily see a lane for Warren in this series where they hope Fried and Rodon go deep in games. If it gets to a game 3, they hope Schlittler does too. But I could see a spot for Warren out of the bullpen. Blackburn essentially makes the team over Yarbrough. That was a little bit of a surprise for me, Michael, but I think what they've seen from Yarbrough recently, they've liked Blackburn better. And then the other point, and I just mentioned the trade deadline, they took a third catcher, Escara, over Slater. Slater was supposed to be somebody who could hit left-handed pitching as well, but the vibe I got when I was talking to people yesterday, he just hasn't hit. I think he's 3 for his last 24, so they like the comfort of Escara, and obviously that helps you out when you do decide to pinch hit and or pinch run late in games. You've got that third catcher now in Escara.
How much pressure do you think there is, Jack, and we're talking with Jack Curry of the Yes Network, how much pressure do you think there is on Judge? I mean, he's having one of the great careers of all time in Major League Baseball history, and that is not a hyperbole, but in 58 playoff games, he's hitting .205. He's hitting .159 with runners in scoring position. With 2 strikes and runners in scoring position, he's hitting .109. Now, tonight he has to go up against Crochet, who he has 2 home runs against, but also struck out a lot against. How much pressure do you think is on him to finally have like a 2009 A-Rod postseason?
Michael, whether it's game 1 or 100 or now 163, there's always going to be pressure on Aaron Judge. So now 163 and beyond, of course that pressure increases. You and I both started covering this team when George Steinbrenner was the owner, and obviously his family still owns the team. But I have quotes from George Steinbrenner embedded in my head, much like I'm sure you do. And I remember George saying one time about the Yankees trying to succeed, your stars need to be stars. Aaron Judge is the greatest star on the planet. And for the Yankees to get to where they eventually hope they can get, they absolutely need Judge to produce. I was talking to some people yesterday in and around the Yankees, people who are in that clubhouse a lot more often than we are as reporters. And one person said to me that Judge always has a lot of confidence, always carries himself with a swagger. This person felt like there was an extra swagger in Judge's step, that He had a great September. He should absolutely win another MVP. And this person who has eyeballs on him every day just believed that Judge was in a really good place. Now, that means nothing if he goes up there tonight and goes 0 for 4 and strikes out 4 times. But I'm just telling you what people who have been around him are saying about how they feel he looks heading into the postseason.
All right, so Jack, I said this on the show yesterday, and I want to reiterate how I feel. I thought that last year, the way the playoffs were set up, it would be a huge disappointment if the Yankees didn't make the World Series, because they don't struggle with Central teams. It was Kansas City first, and then it was the Guardians, and they got to the World Series like they should have. I think the road this year is so much tougher. I mean, you could be looking, you are looking at the Red Sox. Then if you win that series, you're looking at the Blue Jays. And then if you win that series, you're probably looking at Seattle. That's a tough road to the World Series, Jack. Do you agree?
I do, and I heard you say that yesterday, and I concur. And I don't want to in any way, as I'm saying I concur, diminish what the Yankees did last season. You got to the World Series. You achieved something. You deserve credit. They didn't play well when they got to the World Series, and that's something that has hung over them for a year. But, Michael, let's just do the numbers. The Red Sox were 9-4 against the Yankees. The Red Sox were 5-2 at the stadium. The Blue Jays had a winning record over the Yankees, which is what got them the division, which is why the Yankees are even playing right now. And I'll leave Seattle off to the side because the 2 AL East teams, you got to get through them first before you can even talk about Seattle. But actually, Seattle was playing as well as anyone in baseball across the last 2 or 3 weeks of the season. So I think you're absolutely right, but it's a cliche. If you want to eventually achieve your goal of winning a World Series, you got to beat the best teams anyway. So the Yankees are going to be challenged at every step along the way. I also, though, think, Michael, that the teams that are playing the Yankees, and right now it's just the Red Sox, they know there's a dangerous team across the way from them. Fried and Rodon at the top of that rotation, I think they give the Yankees an edge. I don't think there's another team in the postseason that has a 1-2 of Fried and Rodon if they pitch the way they should.
All right, before I let you go, Red Sox are a team, as you mentioned, they've given the Yankees trouble, and the Yankees actually let the Red Sox back into the season when it looks like the Red Sox were going to flounder, and then they beat up on the Yankees over a week and a half. What's the thing that you fear the most if you're the Yankees about the Red Sox?
Game one. Crochet is his numbers against the Yankees terrific this year. 39 strikeouts and 27-plus innings. You're at home where you've won 50 of your 81 games this year. You're going to have 42,000 people on your side. I think game one in a 3-game series, Michael, that's the game. You've got to conquer or outlast Crochet. I think the Yankees win tonight if they hit at least 1 or 2 baseballs in the seats against Crochet, because they have done that. That's the one thing they've done against him this season.
All right, so the Yes pregame show an hour before first pitch, so we'll come on at 5 o'clock on Yes, and then after the game, at least 90 minutes after final pitch. So, Jack, I will see you a little bit later.
I will be rubbing elbows with you in about 3 hours, Michael. Take care.
You got it. Thanks, my friend. I'll talk to you later. So Yankees and the Red Sox, it starts tonight. You'll see it on ESPN. You can listen to it right here on 880 ESPN, and you can watch the pregame show on Yes and the postgame show on Yes as well. All right, we've got more to come. I want to talk to you. I haven't taken many phone calls. 1-800-919-3776. Paul Finebaum will join us as well in the 2 o'clock hour, so stick around. The K Show right here on ESPN New York.
We are proud to serve our country, to serve our local communities, to wear the uniform, to be a soldier, to serve abroad when and where duty calls. We are ready to stand with our brothers and sisters to defend, to serve, to fight. We're always ready. We're always there. We are the New York Army National Guard.
Sponsored by the New York Army National Guard.
Every aspect of your business will operate better and faster with artificial intelligence. AI is a race, and companies that act first will win. Thrive Managed AI is your advantage over all your competitors. Thrive partners with you on a smart, secure AI strategy for your business. Then they deploy and manage it for you. Be first and win the race with Thrive Managed AI. Start with a complimentary strategy consultation at thrivenextgen.com/ESPN. That's thrivenextgen.com/ESPN.
Health surprises can change your life in an instant. You've seen it happen to others, but it doesn't have to be your story. At Princeton Longevity Center, we customize actionable and proactive health plans to maximize your lifespan and take control of your health. Our Cancer Check program combines cutting-edge technology with top medical expertise to keep you ahead of potential risks. With advanced full-body imaging, genetic testing, and multi-cancer detection blood tests, we look for even the earliest signs of problems. Results are analyzed by expert physicians who craft a personalized plan to safeguard your future. You're not just a patient, you're a partner in your health journey, backed by a team committed to helping you live longer, healthier, and more vibrantly. Our programs have saved hundreds of lives and empowered countless others to take control of their health. Be proactive with your health for the ultimate peace of mind. Call 888-8000-PLC or visit PrincetonLongevityCenter.com.
Put in the book! This is your radio home for New York Mets baseball. 880 ESPN, WHSQ, and WCBS-FM HD2, New York.
Every 40 seconds, a child is reported missing. That's 2,000 children every single day. It's a heart-wrenching reality that we can no longer ignore. Find the Children is a non-profit organization dedicated to helping find missing kids. You can be a part of their mission by donating your unwanted vehicle, running or not. Call 1-800-294-0222. We guarantee that you will receive the maximum tax deduction. We provide fast, free pickup with 24-hour response. Call 1-800-294-0222. Find the Children provides crucial resources to help find missing children and educational materials to teach kids how to recognize and avoid predators. Our recovery programs have a proven track record of reuniting kids with their families. It's time to act. Donate your unwanted or unused car. Help us build a world where every child is safe. Pick up the phone and call 1-800-294-0222. Together, we can bring these kids home safely. This advertisement was paid for in partnership with Cars R Us and Find the Children.
Welcome back to the show, everybody. 1 hour gone in an eye blink. 6 o'clock, Yankees and the Red Sox tonight. You can hear it right here on 880 ESPN and watch it on ESPN as well. Yankees-Red Sox game 1. And right now, as we speak, the Tigers are leading the Guardians 1-0. That's in the 4th inning. So that's the first of the 4 games that we have today. Always on Tuesday at this time, we talk with the great Paul Finebaum, and he joins us now. Paul, you're a Yankee fan. What do you think?
No, not even no sweat at all, Michael. I love this series. I'm down on the Red Sox. They have no shot.
Wow, strong words. I love it. Did Alabama save its coach's job with that win this week?
Absolutely. Had he lost, that would have been the topic of everybody in college football. And he won. And by the way, Michael, it wasn't like they eked out a win. I mean, they were brilliant at times. The quarterback looked like a Heisman Trophy candidate. The game plan was really important and quite well executed. And Georgia had not lost in a couple of years at home. They were almost unbeatable, especially at night. So it was a very significant win, and Alabama now looks like they're back. The Florida State game may have been an outlier.
How could it be so different? I mean, I know they're younger players, but how could it be so different from week to week that they look so awful and then look so good?
Well, I think the explanation many are giving is that they did not take Florida State seriously, and I think all of a sudden, I'll spare you the normal cliches, that they literally didn't know what they were into and could not recover. The next 2 weeks, they looked outstanding, and I thought, okay, competition is terrible, but Georgia is a good team now. Let me make it clear. Georgia is not the same team they were a couple of years ago when they were winning back-to-back national championships and were sending literally their entire defensive line into the first round of the NFL. They're good, but the transfer portal has really wreaked havoc with almost every major college football team.
All right, let's talk about Penn State. Do they have a James Franklin problem when it comes to big games? Because now it's not a short sample size; it's a big sample size. It doesn't beat big teams.
You can't say it's not. I mean, the number is unbelievable. And the problem for Penn State is that they really weren't prepared for the season. They played Nevada, Florida International, and Villanova. Just an embarrassing slate for a big-time program. Ohio State played Texas. Alabama played Florida State. Michigan played at Oklahoma, and they played Villanova. Maybe a good basketball game, but not a football game. And I know they lost in double overtime, but the problem is they'll lose at Ohio State too in about 7 weeks, and they'll have literally nothing to show for their season other than maybe a win over Indiana, which seems pretty marginal to me.
So this I think is always a tough question. Maybe you have an answer for it. James Franklin gives them double-digit wins every single year, makes them relevant every single year. But at Penn State, they want to win a national championship. Do you roll the dice and say, okay, we've got to move on from him, and maybe we don't get double-digit wins with the next guy we bring in, but we're going to aim high? What do they do? What could be their decision-making process here?
Yeah, I really don't think they'll consider firing James Franklin if he can't get far in the playoff. I mean, last year they did make it to the semifinals. And trying to come up with a Major League Baseball or an NFL, it's like you're a great team. You have this, the second or third or fourth best record in the MLB, and you get knocked out in the wild card every year. And
Right.
by the way, that happens, as you well know. It ultimately catches up to you, and it's just in professional sports you would get fired, but I'm not sure. At Penn State, this is a program that 15 years ago was literally almost shut down, but they just can't seem to do it. I think Franklin is a good coach, but he's not a great coach, so I think that problem continues.
Drew Aller, people expect more from him. Is he just what we see? I mean, he's not as great as initially thought?
That would be my estimation. When you can't win big games as a quarterback, you don't have a lot of value.
Mm-hmm.
And I think ultimately he got exposed the other night. Oregon looked really good. I mean, there are very few environments quite like the whiteout at Penn State. I mean, it is amazing to watch. And Penn State just started off slow, had to come from behind, and they lose in overtime. And really, in the new 12-team CFP, you would think a 10-2 record would be enough, but I would argue no, because of what I said about the preseason schedule.
All right, now, the Jets are 0-4 after watching yesterday, so we think far ahead here. Maybe they go 0-17, and who's the quarterback that's going to be the number one quarterback, Paul?
Pretty hard to say right now, because it's not going to be Arch Manning. I feel very confident and comfortable in saying that. And the other, the 1 and 2 quarterbacks going into the season, and I'll move Arch out of the way because there was a little bit of uncertainty. They were Cade Klubnik and Garrett Nussmeier.
Klubnik hasn't played.
One with Clemson, one with LSU. They're both having terrible seasons. Mm-hmm. I've never seen. When they met on Labor Day weekend, it was the 1 versus 2 quarterback in next year's draft. So it's a little bit hard to say. The best quarterback I've seen is a guy named Trinidad Chambliss, who was the backup at Ole Miss. He came from some community college out of nowhere, and he has been unbelievable.
Ole Miss, they surprised you that they are what? Let's see, they're 5-0.
They're really good. That was a huge win against LSU. That might have been more about LSU and Brian Kelly. And by the way, John Mateer is another one from Oklahoma, but he's hurt right now. And when he comes back, he could end up being the number one player. But Ole Miss is very good. They're probably the best team in the SEC right now, but that is going to change. We still don't know what Texas is. We know what they are. They weren't on the first weekend, but they're at Florida this weekend. It's the first real test they've had since Ohio State. I think they're going to come back and ultimately be a serious contender. But Ole Miss is as well. And Lane Kiffin is just that mercurial coach who always finds a way to knock somebody off.
How do you think Jackson Dart looked?
Really well. I know. I argued about 3 or 4 weeks ago they need to get him in there, and Russ goes out there and has a good game. I think it was
Dallas
Cowboys or somebody. But ultimately, I think this was the right decision. Whether it saves Dayball's job or not, I think is uncertain. I'll leave that to your callers. But I do think Dart is the answer, and I never doubted that at all.
All right, before I let you go, I love having you on every Tuesday. Am I going to lose you to the U.S. government? I mean, I read this, it gets me nervous, Paul. What's going on?
In Alabama, there's Tommy Tuberville held that seat, and we're trying to make it the sports seat now. A coach leaves, a sportscaster comes in. I'll give you what the political folks say. It's a little bit early, but obviously there were a lot of headlines yesterday that I am considering it.
Wow. And a very good political answer, Paul. So you're halfway there.
and I need you to vote early and often.
All right, you got it. Thanks, my friend.
Hey, thank you very much, Michael. Great to be on.
You got it. That's Paul Finebaum. So if you hadn't read that stuff, he's considering running for U.S. Senate, and he's got to have the ballot in, or not the ballot. He's got to make his decision by January, so he could cover the rest of the college football. But he's for those that don't know up here, he's an immensely popular college sports savant. He has a radio show that's immensely popular. So it's going to be a tough call, because if you just go into the Senate, you don't make as much money as you do if you're a big-time media star. But, Paul's 60 years old, and maybe, he wants to do other things. But we'll keep a close eye on it. 1-800-919-3776. That's the number. Looks like Cleveland, they were just called out at home plate. A Guardian was just called out at home plate, and they just overturned the out call. So that game is now tied 1-1 in the fourth inning. So the initial call at home plate was out, but they say that he got his hand in before the tag. So Cleveland and Detroit 1-1. They were tied in the Central. The Guardians ended up winning the Central because of a tiebreaker. They beat them in head-to-head. So this is the first game of the three-game set. And today starts the Major League playoffs. So it comes down to Game 7 of the World Series would be November 1st. And I think all of these I don't think the Dodgers and the Reds are going to be that competitive. I don't. Cleveland has a little magic something. They don't score, but they pitch very well. So I would say that I would pick the Guardians in this. I mean, if you could beat Skubal, then you're halfway there. I don't like the rest of what the Tigers do. And I think there is some magic to the fact that the Guardians play smart baseball. They don't score a lot of runs at all, but they have great starting pitching, 1 through 6, which is not going to need in a best-of-3. So I'm going to take the Guardians in that one. Now, the second series, the Padres and the Cubs. The Cubs had not played that well down the stretch. They finished at 92-70. They have a better record than the Padres at 90-72. Padres, in my opinion, much tougher division in the West. So they get knocked around by the Dodgers every now and then. So that series is going to be in Wrigley Field starting at 3 o'clock on ABC. I'm going to take the Padres in this one in the best-of-3. Then you have the Yankees and the Red Sox, 6 o'clock on ESPN, and also you could hear it on 880 ESPN. And I like the Yankees in this series, but as Jack said, tonight is so very important. It really is. I mean, Crochet is the key in this series, because if he just shuts the Yankees down, and even if Max Fried gives up a run over 7 innings, you could end up losing that game. Now, if you go to a third game, you have to like the Yankees' chances, even though they're pitching a kid in Schlittler. Red Sox don't really have a starter. It'll be a bullpen game because Giolito is not even on the active roster with an elbow issue. So I'm going to take the Yankees in this series, but tonight's big. Tonight is big, I'm not going to lie. And anybody who thinks this is a walkover, I don't know what you're watching. The Red Sox dominated the Yankees during the regular season. This is not a walkover by any stretch. So if the Red Sox win this series, would I be shocked? No. No, I wouldn't be shocked. It's not like it would be a huge upset. Now, the final series, if the Reds beat the Dodgers, I'd be flabbergasted. Flabbergasted. So that game is a 9 o'clock start on ESPN. The Reds just got in because the Mets weren't good enough to win 84 games. They lost on the last day of the year when they had to win, which would have clinched their postseason spot. They lost, and then they watched as the Mets lost by a score of 4-0. So I like the Dodgers in that in 2 games. And the Reds, they've got good pitching, but they had to use that pitching right up until the end to get in. The Dodgers didn't. The Dodgers knew they were in. They finished at 93 and 69, so that was 3 games ahead of the Padres. So give me the Dodgers, give me the Yankees, give me the Padres, and give me the Guardians. Now, one interesting thing that I saw on social media before I started the game, that there are some Yankee fans, some baseball fans that are saying, well, I mean, Met fans should be rooting for the Yankees now that the Mets are out. And, they're playing the Red Sox. And are you kidding me? What self-respecting Met fan would root for the Yankees in the series or in the playoffs? And please don't give me that hackneyed, well, I'm just rooting for New York. Your team just got embarrassingly eliminated from the playoffs. And then you're going to root for the team across town to win? Met fans, I've got too much respect for you. There's no way you're rooting for the Yankees. How could you? Any Met fan out there, within the sound of my voice, or if you're looking at me right now on our YouTube channel, if you're going to root for the Yankees in the postseason, I want to know why. I want to get inside your head. And I don't want to hear from the people that say, well, I root for all New York teams. Stop. You're not really a fan. If you're a Met fan, you don't root for the Yankees. If you're a Yankee fan, you don't root for the Mets. And you wonder why the Yankee fans yesterday were dancing on the graves of the Met fans. Of course they were. They were happy the Mets were eliminated. That's what fandom's about. There's no self-respecting Met fan, I think, on this planet that could be rooting for the Yankees to win in the postseason. Why? And please, again, I'll listen if that's your answer. Well, I'm rooting for New York. Really? Well, what a civic-minded person you are. Then you're really not that big of a Met fan. Because if you're rooting for the Yankees to win the World Series, well, you're going to deal with the whole winter of hell as Yankee fans laugh that you didn't make the playoffs and they won the World Series? That makes no sense to me. Makes no sense. 1-800-919-3776. Alex in Staten Island. We're going to go to the co-host now. What's up, Alex?
Hey, what's going on, Mike? How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm all right. Mike, I have a question real quick about the Yankees, but I wanted to ask you, is it possible to ask something about the couch cast last night, too?
You could ask whatever you like, my friend.
So, is there any – I know, obviously, it's problems with the broadcasting of the NFL games and whatnot, but there was no way to, have the Jet game a little bit on, the corner of the screen or something? Because it was kind of hard. I had it on the iPad. I had you guys on the TV and whatnot, but it would have been nice if it was, kind of mainstream, like you guys, but then kind of, cut to the Jets a little bit, but –
I think legally we could not do it, Alex, because of rights and stuff like that. Because Westwood One has the national rights for the Monday night game, and then the Jets broadcast is on another station, 104. So I don't think that we could have done that, and I don't think that ESPN would have allowed us to put that up there because we're almost drawing their audience away if we're also showing the game.
Yeah, of course. All right, so I got you on that. No, of course, you guys are awesome. So tonight, Fried, what do you think? He's been good against the Red Sox, kind of. He's been good in his last 10 starts, but those postseason numbers are kind of a little scary, in my opinion. I just wanted to get your take. What do you think he'll do tonight?
Yeah,
thanks, Mike.
If he pitches like he did, Alex, down the stretch, he'll be great. So in his final 7 games, he had a 1.55 ERA, and the Yankees in those games went 6-1. He has not pitched well in his last 3 playoff outings. 2 against Philadelphia, 1 against San Diego. He gave up 12 runs in 9 1/3 innings, 11.57 ERA. That's not good. He did pitch great in Game 6 of the 2021 World Series. So he clinched that World Series for the Braves against the Astros. He pitched 6 shutout innings. So I guess we have to look at what do you put more weight on? Do you put more weight on the fact that he finished just unbelievable with a 1.55 ERA in 7 starts? Do you look at his most recent playoff starts? Do you look at, the World Series game, which was the height of pressure? There's a different animal pitching at Yankee Stadium in front of 46,000 fans, and the Red Sox are the opponent, than any game that he pitched for the Atlanta Braves. My gut feeling is he'll pitch well. I think he after that rough stretch in the middle of the season, he's found his stuff. He's got command of all of his pitches. I don't think the Red Sox are a great offensive team, especially without Roman Anthony. And like the Yankees, they're a better team against right-handed pitching. But against left-handed pitching, all of a sudden, you're using Rob Refsnyder. You're using players that you might not that you wouldn't use against righties. Their lineup's better against righties, as is the Yankee lineup. So which of the rejiggered lineup and the platoon lineup is going to do better against a tough left-hander? That's what it comes down to. But you ask me what I think he's going to do, I think he'll pitch well. Whether or not he's going to pitch great, I don't know. But I think he'll pitch well. Drew in Long Island. Drew.
Hey, Michael. Very interested to see your reaction to the Mets collapse. And I was watching some of your show yesterday. And, I know obviously it's the easiest day in history to dunk on the Mets but we all know that, yes, we suck. We collapse. It's one of the worst, most embarrassing performances by executives, the roster, the whole, you name it. But if we're talking from a Yankee Met perspective, right, the Yankee fan used to mock the Met fan for celebrating Yankee Elimination Day as, the end of their season. Now, if we're talking about changing the culture, the Mets have a long way to go about that. But the signing of Soto, this is year 1 of 15 that you got to watch him in a Met uniform.
Absolutely.
And if the Yankees, right, do not go forward past this week, then people like the Yankee fans, like yourself, who are gleefully enjoying the Mets' demise, you will have a lot of crow to eat because of the fact that was your World Series this year. Watching Soto fail, watching the Mets fail, and hopefully the Yankees can get over the hump and beat a non-AL Central team for the first time in a while. But it is a long way to go in saying who got the last guy.
I would tell you this, Drew. If the Yankees lose to the Red Sox, yes, they have to eat crow, but not as much crow as Met fans. And also, I'm not happy about the Mets losing. I'm happy about the Mets losing for the people that were nasty and vindictive and vile to me. If you listen to the entire thing I said, I said I have a lot of really close friends that are Met fans, and I feel for those guys. And I really like Carlos Mendoza, and I really feel for Mendy. I'm not dancing on the grave of Met fans. I'm gleeful of the people that mock me about something that I didn't even say. That's all I said, so don't put different words in my mouth. I love that some of the reactions I got from people, particularly Met fans. It's unbelievable how Kay made it about himself. It's the Michael Kay show. Who am I going to make it about? James Franklin? It's my show. It's how I look at things, how things impact me, my show. Why are you shocked by that? Do you know the name of the show? The name of the show isn't the sports show. The name of the show isn't let's have a real good sports take, hot take, something like that. It's the Michael Kay show. It's going to be about what Michael Kay feels about things. It stunned me that people were like shocked. Well, look at him. He's making it about himself. Damn right I am. It is about me. It's the way I was treated and unfairly by a subsection of Met fans that are miserable and weren't hugged by their parents. You think I'm happy that Met fans are unhappy? No, just those Met fans. I'm thrilled that they're unhappy. I'm gleeful that they're unhappy. I'm glad that they're glum, just like Juan Soto was when the Mets came into Yankee Stadium during the first Subway Series. I never said he'd be glum for the rest of his life. And you know what? I also come to grips with this. I know this is true. He signed through 2039. And I'm pretty sure that in the next 14 years, the Mets will win a World Series or two with Juan Soto. And whether it's next year, 5 years from now, I know that subsection of very angry people who hate their own life, that'll be the first thing that shows up on social media when Soto's in the middle of the clubhouse and having champagne poured on his head. Doesn't look glum now, Mike. I guarantee it. For the most part, they kept their mouths shut yesterday. For the most part. Because, I mean, what can you say? There's nothing to say. There's nothing to defend. Nothing. I mean, we just saw what our previous caller just said. Well, you're going to eat crow because you just want. The Mets not making the World Series is not the Yankees' World Series. Or the Mets not making the playoffs is not cause for the Yankee fan to celebrate. Because the one thing that people don't realize, Yankee fans are not as obsessed with Met fans as Met fans are about the Yankee fans. I think Yankee fans didn't like it when Met fans said, well, we're the big brother now because we signed a guy away that you wanted. Yankees did want Soto. And if you had to do it all over again, although their plan B worked spectacularly, and you could press a button, the Yankees would take Juan Soto, signing with them, and they go to war with that group again like they did last year. But because the Mets didn't make the postseason, that's not the Yankee World Series. You know what the Yankee World Series is? The World Series. That's the Yankee World Series. It always is. I'm sure Yankee fans felt some joy with the Mets, some of the big mouth subset Met fans who were hanging on the rim because they signed Soto, that the Mets didn't make it. I'm sure there are, but that's not their World Series, because strangely enough, their World Series is, the World Series. FanDuel is getting you ready for kickoff with an offer that you won't want to miss. New customers can bet just $5 and get $300 in bonus bets if you win. Pick a bet $5, and if it wins, you'll unlock $300 in bonus bets to use all across the app. You can build parlays, bet player props, ride the live lines, whatever your style, FanDuel has you covered. Visit FanDuel.com/K to download the FanDuel app today and get started. 21 plus and physically present in New York. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets, which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. For help with a gambling problem, call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369.
Tuesday with Don, Hahn, and Rosenberg. The Jets are now 0-4 and had numerous costly penalties last night. Are we sure it's not the same old Jets?
I'm very disappointed. And there's no way you can win any game with 13 penalties and 3 turnovers. It just can't happen.
And Jeff Nelson joins the show at 4 to preview Yankees-Red Sox Game 1. Don, Hahn, and Rosenberg today at 3 on ESPN New York and streaming live on YouTube.
Listen up, New York. It's football season, and you should be out there enjoying every play, every tailgate, every moment. But if you're dealing with neck pain, back pain, joint pain, or sciatica, even getting off the couch can feel like a challenge. That's where Dr. Jay Shaw at Sandwell Pain comes in. He's one of New Jersey's top pain specialists, Ivy League trained, double board certified, and dedicated to getting you back in the game. Here's the difference. No surgery, no scars, no long recovery, no pain medication. Just precise, non-surgical, image-guided procedures that get real results. Dr. Shaw treats everything from neck pain, back pain, migraines, nerve pain, and chronic joint pain. And he builds a custom game plan that's right for you. Same day or next day appointments are available with offices in Woodbridge, Livingston, and Inglewood. And yes, most major insurances are accepted. So don't let pain keep you on the sidelines this season. Go to SandwellPain.com to call, text, or book online. Relief is closer than you think, and it starts today.
At City Harvest, we believe no New Yorker has to go hungry. With your help, we're on the road 365 days a year, rescuing over 77 million pounds of nutritious food and delivering it free to millions of New Yorkers, transforming surplus food into sustenance, sustainability, and smiles, rallying thousands of New Yorkers to power a network of nourishment across our city. One day, one meal, and one New Yorker at a time. That's how we feed good. Donate at cityharvest.org.
D'Agostino & Associates is a legacy firm, and I'm proud to be a part of that legacy. I'm Jenna D'Agostino, and like my father, I fight to get justice for the injured.
The hustle and grit of these streets shaped me. I'm John D'Agostino, and from the concrete to the courtroom, I built this injury firm 35 years ago to get accident victims justice. So call my team first, 1-800-BITE-BACK. That's 1-800-248-3222.
You want justice? Think Jenna D'Agostino. Think D'Agostino & Associates. Justice isn't just a word. For us, it's a way of life. It's having compassion for your struggle and getting you paid for your pain. Now that's justice. D'Agostino & Associates means being there for the injured.
Seriously injured? Call my team first at 1-800-BITE-BACK. That's 1-800-248-3222. D'Agostino & Associates has offices throughout New York and New Jersey and will come to you. I've been there, and I'll be there for you.
D'Agostino Law Bite Back. At Uline, the prevailing opinion is, if you don't live it, you don't believe it. The people at Uline believe in hard work, and they live it by being there 24/7 to answer your call, having 41,000 items in stock, and offering same-day shipping from 12 locations across North America. Business owners, sellers, buyers, shippers, and packers believe it. Uline is the hard-working, dependable source for your shipping and industrial supplies. Visit uline.com.
Individuals and businesses with tax problems, listen carefully. Do you feel like you're losing control of your finances? If you owe over $10,000 in back taxes or have unfiled tax returns, we can help you take back control. The IRS is the largest and most aggressive collection agency in the world, and they can seize your bank accounts, garnish your paycheck, close your business, and file criminal charges. Take control of your tax problem now by calling the experts at U.S. Tax Shield and take advantage of the Fresh Start program and new laws that may allow us to negotiate a settlement for the lowest amount possible. Our team of tax attorneys and enrolled agents can stop collections and get you protected so you can take control of your financial future. U.S. Tax Shield offers a price protection guaranteed quote to get you protected today. U.S. Tax Shield is A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau, so call now. 800-687-5192. That's 800-687-5192. U.S. Tax Shield. 800-687-5192.
Welcome back to the show, everybody. 6 o'clock tonight, Yankees against the Red Sox. You'll see it on ESPN. You'll hear it right here on 880 ESPN. And the pregame show will be on the Yes Network starting at 5. An hour pregame show, 90-minute postgame show following the final pitch on ESPN. 1-800-919-3776. Let's go to Steve in Trumbull. Steve.
Hey, Michael, can you hear me okay?
Oh, yeah, perfect.
Excellent. Just to give you kudos on your job that you do. Been a long time fan, and I appreciate it. I turned my wife telling her this is how it's done when you listen to the Yankees and baseball. It's really great to hear you guys interact. Anyway, with that kissing, I just wanted to share two things. I'm going to the game with her tonight. First time she'll see a playoff game. She's become a loyal Yankee fan. So it is super cool to go with a wife and share this experience. The other thing is I just wanted to share a Giant story I think you could appreciate. 1987, they played the Redskins. They won the playoffs 17-0. That was a day that was swirling winds. It was cold. It was the first time they're going to the Super Bowl. And I'm standing there and watching the countdown of the game, and I look to my left and I see an 80-something-year-old guy, and he's crying. And I ask him, "Why are you crying? Why are you supposed to be happy?" He goes, "I never thought I would ever see this in my life." And I just wanted to share that. I thought that was pretty special.
Well, I mean, that's Steve. That's what sports are about. It elicits that sort of emotion and response. So I get it. I totally get it. I mean, I went to the Super Bowl with Don LaGreca, the first time that the Giants beat the Patriots when the Patriots were 17-0, and we're walking outside, and he's crying. I mean, that's what sports does. You know, Don's a big Giant fan, but he was crying more because he used, his Giant fandom started when he was, sitting with his dad watching the games, and he thought about what that win would have meant to his dad who had passed away. So sports is one of the last bastions of true emotion. There's so much fake emotion now, on different sides of the aisle. Let's elicit emotion. Sports gives you real emotion. It really does. Because, I mean, your connection to a team goes way back, probably before birth. Kids are born into, their fandom of a certain team the way they're born into a religion for the most part. That's how deep it runs in families. Here's the Yankee lineup. This is the official lineup. And pretty much, Jack Curry nailed it. First base, Paul Goldschmidt leads off. Aaron Judge in right. Cody Bellinger in left. And Bellinger, by the way, has good numbers against Crochet. He's 5 for 14. It's amazing that he has those kind of numbers against a lefty like Crochet. So Bellinger's playing left field and batting third. DHing Giancarlo Stanton cleans up. Second baseman Ahmad Rosario will bat fifth. Batting sixth, center fielder Trent Grisham. Anthony Volpe, the shortstop, will bat seventh. Batting eighth and catching, Austin Wells. Batting ninth, the third baseman Jose Caballero. The one move that I unless he's hurt, which we're told he's not, you can't platoon Jazz Chisholm. You just can't. He's too dynamic. There's too many good things that could happen with him. The change that I would have made in this lineup, Rosario would have been my third baseman, and Jazz Chisholm would have been my second baseman. And Caballero comes off the bench to steal a bag. Max Fried is the starter for the Yankees. I'm surprised that Jazz isn't in there. That, to me, is huge. I don't get it. I don't. It doesn't make sense to me. Josh Chisholm's not a platoon player. He's an everyday player. Here's the Red Sox starting lineup. Ruff Snyder DHs. The shortstop is Story. Third baseman is Bregman, who's been sick, didn't even travel with the team, and came to the ballpark not even on the team bus. That's how ill he's been, but he's in the lineup. Cleaning up is Romy Gonzalez. Carlos Narvaez will catch. Nate Eaton in right field, another guy who plays against lefty pitching. Jaron Duran in left. Ceddanne Rafaela in center. And Sogard is at second base and batting ninth with Garrett Crochet on the mound. So those are the starting lineups for the Yankees against the Red Sox. Let's go to Michael in Oregon. What's up, Michael?
Hey, Michael, can you hear me?
I hear you great. What's up?
Great. Good morning. Hey, I just want to say I think you do a really good job. I'm originally from New Rochelle, New York. I'm a huge Mets fan. Started watching right after, unfortunately, the Davey Johnson era, so I kind of missed the peak, the zenith of the franchise. But I just want to give you some credit and some respect, because I think that you when you speak about the Mets-Yankees intercity rivalry and fan battling and/or passion, I think you do a really good job of giving the Mets credit when credit's due and when it's not due. And I want to say on behalf of Mets fans, I apologize when fans were talking trash about Soto or whatever. I just want you to know, when we got Soto, and this is the kind of Mets fan I am, I wasn't like making fun of the Yankees. I was happy for us. And so there are a lot of Mets fans out there that, like, my rival's the Braves. That's who I worry about. Like, I don't worry about the Yankees. I think the problem is for me, someone in my early mid-40s who's been a Mets fan 35 years, and I just want you to know I watch about 155 to 160 games a year, and the time zone difference makes it so awesome because the games start for me at 4 o'clock.
Yep.
You know? But I know I'm saying a lot here, but I want you to know the problem I think some Mets fans have is, and you're not in this category, is a lot of times throughout my life, even when the Mets are playing well, I'll be at a wedding, I'll be at a party, I'll be on a vacation, and people that know how much I love the Mets, like, they almost treat me like it's a disease. And they're Yankee fans. And I always say to them, I'm like, why don't you worry about the Red Sox and Blue Jays, not about us? But anyway, in summary, I want to apologize for Mets fans that were talking trash. To me, baseball is not about trash, especially being from New York. Baseball is like religion, and I think you do a great job, just like Gary Cohen does. And I think that you never cross any lines. But I want you to know there's a lot of Mets fans out there that I'm not rooting against you. I'm rooting against the Braves, okay? And so, anyway, any thoughts on what I just said?
Well, I would say one thing. I mean, there's a couple of things about what you just said. Met fans, for the most part, are great. And I don't blame them for celebrating when they got Soto. That's the first time that the Yankees lost a player they really wanted to keep. And they didn't just lose him to any team. They lost him to the crosstown rivals. You had every right to celebrate. You had every right to hang on the rim. You did. I think, the big brother, little brother, that was probably a little much. But you listen, it was all in the euphoria of it. The only thing that I had a problem with is that I reported something that was absolutely 1,000% true. That when the Mets came into Yankee Stadium for the first leg of the Subway Series, Juan Soto was miserable. I was told by people in the Met clubhouse that he was unhappy and miserable. He was having a hard time acclimating. And I reported that. I never said that he was going to be unhappy for the rest of his career. And if people listen to the show, and you should, I said he was going to have a great year. And I wrote down his numbers today. He had a great year. 921 OPS, 43 home runs, 38 stolen bases, 120 runs scored. He had a great year. Never said he was going to be unhappy, that he was unhappy for the rest of his career for the next 15 years. Never said that. But again, there's a subset of miserable people who were not hugged by their parents, who just aren't generally happy in life, that they wanted to, stick that to me as a forever thing when it wasn't anything. Listen, when I say something dumb, and believe me, I'm going to say dumb stuff. I'll own it. Everything I say on this show, everything I say on Yes, I never back away from it. I could say, if I'm wrong, I could say, I ended up being wrong. But if I say something controversial, I'm going to own it. I never said that he was going to be unhappy for the rest of his career. I just said that when they came in the Yankee Stadium, he was unhappy. I stand by that. He was miserable. Miserable. You could see it. Yankees were talking about it. He had an unhappy look on his face. Glum. That's the word that stuck with people. But then people just wanted to run with that. Met fans don't have to apologize to me. Absolutely not. I talk about the time when I went to the Met game during the DiPietro and Rothenberg tailgate. They couldn't have been nicer. They're great people. They're really energetic, real fans. They love their team. But it's the ones that take it to the next level, like on social media, when I said that I was coming to the Citi Field that day. Well, you're going to eat concrete, stuff like that. Those people never showed up. But they're very active on social media. Very active. They're nasty. They're vindictive. Those are the ones that I was laughing about yesterday. But I know, as I said earlier, it's going to be something that it's going to be around for the rest of my life. As long as Juan Soto's a Met, and they are going to probably win 2 championships or whatever in his time with the Mets, I'll get it then. Fine, whatever. I laugh because you're harboring a grudge that doesn't exist, that you made up. It's something that you made up out of your own imagination. Cool. Be what you will. Let's go to Eric in Long Island. Eric.
Michael, thank you very much for taking my call. I absolutely love your show, even more so now that you're doing a solo act, especially after yesterday's little diatribe with Don. But number one is I couldn't agree with you more. I think you're absolutely right in terms of the one change you'd make to the lineup. I absolutely agree. I think he should be coming off the bench, if anything, and not starting at third. But I did add one thing, and I know it sounds crazy, so please bear with me.
Okay.
Because I did play Division I baseball, and I was drafted by the Tigers. I've been a fan for over 70 years. I'm just wondering, I know it sounds illogical, but was there any thought to not starting Fried tonight against Crochet? Because Fried could be brilliant. He could be absolutely brilliant and still lose if they don't hit Crochet and they don't do well against lefties. And then who are you left with as your third starter? Whereas if you start your third starter, I guess Heel went so recently he can't, but maybe there's another. And I'm not saying throw the game away because that's not the way the Yankee thing is. But at least then you can come back with Fried and Rondon against Boston's 2 and 3, and I'll take those matchups any day.
Okay, let's talk about it. Let's talk about this because it's interesting. First of all, I don't think you could do that, Eric, in a best of 3. Because if you lose the first game, you're very close to having your season end. So let me ask you this. Do you think the Red Sox considered not pitching Crochet because Max Fried's so good? You can't concede a game because the guy's a good pitcher. And the Yankees have a much better Game 3 pitcher than the Red Sox do. They have Cam Schlittler, who finished with an under 3 ERA, who throws 99 miles an hour from start to finish. And the Red Sox don't even have a starter for Game 3. They're going to have a bullpen game. You can't go into Game 1, Eric, thinking we're going to lose because it's Garrett Crochet. I mean, Garrett Crochet is one of the best pitchers in baseball. It's not even arguable. But in 4 games against the Yankees, his ERA was 3.29. It's not like he was Sandy Koufax, where they couldn't even touch him. 3.29 ERA. They've hit some home runs against him. Judges hit a home run against him. I don't think that you could seed a game in a best of 3. It's almost an insult to Max Fried. So the Red Sox aren't moving Crochet to the second game because they don't think that they could beat Fried. So why should the Yankees move Fried to Game 2 because they don't think they could beat Crochet? Both teams are better against righty pitching than they are against lefties. So the Red Sox are at just as much a disadvantage against Fried as the Yankees are against Crochet. I mean, the Red Sox are starting Refsnyder and Eaton. Refsnyder and Eaton. So, I mean, the Red Sox lineup is not like thunder and lightning by any stretch of the imagination. No. I listen, I'm not going to disparage your thought on it, but I don't think you seed games in the best of 3. And you lose one game, you're halfway out. You got Rodon tomorrow against Bayo. And then if there's a game 3, you got Schlittler against a bullpen game. And the Red Sox bullpen at the end with Whitlock and Chapman, lockdown. But before that, nobody really scares you. Weisert's okay, but nobody's really frightening you. You know, Steven Matz, is he keeping you up at night? So now I'm glad they're pitching Fried. You put your best against their best, and let's see who wins. 1-800-919-3776. We'll finish it up till 3 o'clock. At that time, Don Hahn and Rosenberg take over. Fastest 2 hours in sports talk. It's going on. Not too much time left. Join in on the fun. You know the number, 1-800-919-3776. I hope that you are watching us on the YouTube channel, the ESPN New York YouTube channel. And the way you do that, you go to the ESPN New York app, you click on the YouTube panel or tile, and then subscribe. It's free. And then you could watch the show as well as listen to it. And we had like over 5,000 people watching the Couchcast yesterday. We set a record on our show yesterday with one of the highest numbers that anyone's ever had, and then continued it into the first segment of Don Hahn and Rosenberg when I joined them. So we're thrilled about the reception that we've gotten with the YouTube broadcast. I'm glad that we've done it, and I'm glad that you've enjoyed it. Let's keep building it up. So if you know people that listen to the show, tell them, hey, you could watch it too. YouTube channel, ESPN New York YouTube channel. All right, co-host, line up, 1-800-919-3776. We'll finish with you, the K-Show, right here on ESPN New York.
Tuesday with Don Hahn and Rosenberg. The Jets are now 0-4 and had numerous costly penalties last night. Are we sure it's not the same old Jets?
I'm very disappointed. And there's no way you can win any game with 13 penalties and 3 turnovers. It just can't happen.
And Jeff Nelson joins the show at 4 to preview Yankees Red Sox Game 1. Don Hahn and Rosenberg today at 3 on ESPN New York and streaming live on YouTube.
Hey Yankees fans, hit your next adventure out of the park and onto the water with City Cruises New York. Sail your way to epic skyline views, delicious dining, and premium drinks. Upgrade your game day with a dining cruise, a cocktail sail, or a night with your favorite entertainers aboard City Cruises Live. Whether you're celebrating a win or just the weekend, City Cruises is a shipload of fun. Proud partner of the New York Yankees. Book today at citycruises.com/New York.
1-877-CARS for kids. KARS Cars for kids. 1-877-CARS for kids. Donate your car today. 1-877-CARS for kids. KARS Cars for kids. 1-877-CARS for kids. Donate your car today.
Ready to get rid of that old car? Donate it to Cars for Kids. Call 1-877-CARS-FOR-KIDS to reach a friendly live agent. Donation is super easy, and your car can be picked up as soon as tomorrow. Call us now, 877-CARS-FOR-KIDS. That's cars with a K to donate your car today.
1-877-CARS for kids. KARS Cars for kids. 1-877-CARS for kids. Donate your.
Did you know you can donate real estate too? Go to carsforkids.org. That's carsforkids.org.
There's nothing the voice in our head obsesses over like our health. But with over 100 lab tests and insights, Function can help answer the questions like, why am I so tired all the time? How can I get better sleep? My friend was telling me about magnesium gummies she takes. How do I even know if my heart is work stress affected? It's time to up my cardio. If my mom has something, how would I find out? It's time to get some blood work done. A Function membership gives you a comprehensive health check with results tracked over time. Find out what you're made of at functionhealth.com.
Individuals and businesses with tax problems, listen carefully. Do you feel like you're losing control of your finances? If you owe over $10,000 in back taxes or have unfiled tax returns, we can help you take back control. The IRS is the largest and most aggressive collection agency in the world, and they can seize your bank accounts, garnish your paycheck, close your business, and file criminal charges. Take control of your tax problem now by calling the experts at U.S. Tax Shield and take advantage of the Fresh Start program and new laws that may allow us to negotiate a settlement for the lowest amount possible. Our team of tax attorneys and enrolled agents can stop collections and get you protected so you can take control of your financial future. U.S. Tax Shield offers a price protection guaranteed quote to get you protected today. U.S. Tax Shield is A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau, so call now. 800-687-5192. That's 800-687-5192. U.S. Tax Shield. 800-687-5192.
In the city that never sleeps and never stops talking sports, ESPN New York is always on. Now you can live and breathe everything New York sports wherever you are. On your radio dial, on the ESPN New York app, and streaming live on YouTube. However you watch or listen, ESPN New York is always on for you. Hear us, stream us, watch us. This is ESPN New York.
Welcome back to the show, everybody. Don Hahn and Rosenberg coming up. Want to remind you, Saturday, October 4th at Sports Illustrated Stadium, the New York Red Bulls take on FC Cincinnati with kickoff set for 7:30 p.m. Start your match day early on the Boulevard at 4:30 p.m. Enjoy pregame activations, giveaways, and live performances. Then at 5:45 p.m., catch the Red Bulls on the red carpet. Gates open at 6 p.m., where the first 10,000 fans get a reversible Red Bulls bucket hat. For your chance to win a family 4-pack, enter now through the ESPN New York app. Just click the contest tile and submit your entry. Bring the crew and secure your seats at NewYorkRedBulls.com. Plan ahead and travel smart. The Harrison Path Station is closed Saturday, October 4th. Free shuttles will run from Journal Square to the stadium, so enjoy. Let's go to Larry in Corona. Larry.
Hey, what's going on, Michael?
How you doing, Larry?
I'm doing all right. Hey, Michael, I'm a diehard Mets fan, and I listen to you every day. I don't feel the way the other Mets fans did, and I'm sorry that they treated you like that.
That's all right. You don't have to apologize for others. Thank you, though.
Yeah, I want to say something. The narrative is that the Mets collapsed. I don't feel like the Mets collapsed because we've been done since June. Like, the team's been done since June. We've had, 2 or 3 7-game losing streaks. I knew the season was over. You know what I'm saying? I knew this kid.
I hear what you're saying. I definitely get what you're feeling because it wasn't a collapse like over 17 games, losing 7 days. It was a slow erosion, and it started on June 13th. So somebody had it in The Athletic, which I think is so poetic. It took 108 days, the amount of stitches on a baseball, for the Mets to have this slow, painful collapse. It wasn't a collapse like it happened in 07 and 08. It wasn't like that. It just took forever. It was a loss of attrition. They just kept losing games that they should win. They never came back and had a dramatic victory. So I get you. It wasn't that kind of, epiphany moment that they just lost it all. No. They lost it it was like a baton death march. There was not one moment you could point to. Now, if you want to say, okay, this is when it turned, there was that bad throw from Pete Alonso to Kodai Senga where he hurt his hamstring. And then the Met pitching collapsed. Nick in Long Island. Nick.
Michael, how you doing, brother?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing great, man. I'm 28, so I've been a fan of you my entire life, dude. So,
thank you.
I wanted to call because I have a perspective about the Yankees and Mets not hating each other.
Okay.
So, my dad was raised in Queens. He married my mom, who's a Yankee fan. I was born in 96. So, I had 4 rings on my little baby fandom hand at 5 years old. My dad, being from Queens, never once gave me a hard time my entire life about being a Yankee fan. And for that, I admire him. And I'll always root for the Mets because of him, but I'm a diehard Yankee fan. So, I feel like vice versa, it's okay to root for the other team if it brings, your family together. You know what I mean?
So is your dad still with us?
Yes.
And he's rooting for the Yankees to do well in the postseason?
He's rooting for the Yankees because he loves me, and he never gave me a hard time.
I love that, and there's a variable that other people don't have. But if you don't have that connection where you have a son who took after the mom who liked the Yankees, then I don't get it. If you're a Met fan, let's say Frank the Tank from Barstool, you think Frank the Tank is rooting for the Yankees now? And if the Mets made the postseason, you think the Yankee fans would be rooting for the Mets to beat the Dodgers? You know, today's been mostly about the Jets and the Yankees and the Red Sox game. But David Stern spoke yesterday after we got off the air, and the one thing that stuck with me, I was reading over everything he said, he kept saying about run prevention, how defense has to be better. Here's what I don't get, everybody. Maybe we'll talk about it more tomorrow at 1. How do they keep Pete Alonso then? Pete Alonso's not a good first baseman. Out of 39 qualified first basemen, he was 38th in outs above average. He's a bad first baseman. So if you're going to talk about run prevention and improving your defense, how do you bring back Pete Alonso? Unless you say, okay, Pete Alonso is going to be the DH because Starling Marte, his contract's out. But do you want to pay a DH $35 to $40 million a year? And also, at some point, Juan Soto's going to have to become a DH. He's not a good defender in right field. So you talk about run prevention, you tell me how the plan could be, okay, we're bringing back Pete Alonso. I know Met fans love him, but if you're trying to improve your team and you think that part of the problem is that you don't have good defense, how do you bring back one of your worst defensive players? And the conundrum is he's one of your best offensive players. It's going to be a lot of heavy lifting for David Stearns during the offseason to fix this and make it right. Because Lindor and Soto aren't going anywhere. They're here long term. Alonso's contract is up. Let's see what the Mets do with that. My gut feeling is they do not bring him back. All right, Yankees and the Red Sox tonight. You could hear the play-by-play on the radio starting at 6:05 on 880 ESPN. You could watch it on ESPN television. You could watch the pregame show on Yes starting at 5, an hour pregame show. The postgame show following final pitch will be a 90-minute postgame show. Me, Meredith Marakovich, John Flaherty, Jack Curry, who you heard earlier, and Bob Lorenz will be all over it, and that'll be after the final pitch on ESPN. Turn over to Yes. Coming up, Don Hahn and Rosenberg, they'll break it down, talk about the Jets as well. We were all together again last night on the Couchcast. We had a blast. It's the K Show. And in the words of Billy Joel, life is a series of hellos and goodbyes. I'm afraid it's time for goodbye again. See everybody. Have a wonderful night. Enjoy the game. Enjoy Don Hahn and Rosenberg. And we'll review the game and talk it over at 1 o'clock starting tomorrow. See ya.
Tuesday with Don Hahn and Rosenberg. The Jets are now 0-4 and had numerous costly penalties last night. Are we sure it's not the same old Jets?
I'm very